Hey yo, what it do, baby? It's your boy Dynamic. And before I get into my main topic, the gameplay, I'm not gonna say is a good gameplay. This is a good gameplay for regular team deathmatch. I didn't get that many kills, but don't pay attention to it. Just pay attention more to what I have to say. Basically, my topic is gaming a skill or is gaming talent? What I mean by skill is because gaming is a skill, but is there talent required in order for you to become incredibly good at it, like a pro? I got into an online discussion through YouTube comments with a user, skill versus talent. And what he expressed was that there was no talent whatsoever involved in being a great video game player or a great Call of Duty player. We were mainly talking about Call of Duty. He said there is no talent involved. It is just skill that is learned. Right? And my counter argument was that there is a talent, there is a hidden talent that will determine your potential. To me, that hidden talent that determines your potential is intelligence, basically, how smart you are. He said that that obviously has nothing to do with being a great player, or he said that has nothing to do with it's all skill, it's all practice. And I think practice does help you get 95% of the way there, but there's something that separates a great player from a pro. I can tell you guys from back in the Halo days, when I used to play Halo, I used to practice the living hell out of that game. I used to practice, deliberate practice too. And Halo 3 has a system where it ranks your skill level from a 1 to a 50 in a given playlist. Basically, like Team Deathmatch, it was called Team Slayer in Halo. And I became a 50 in Team Slayer. And in MOG, I got up to like a 47, right? Which is incredibly good. But something separated me compared to a regular player. I was completely amazing. It was not even close. But me compared to a pro, I was good, but when I played pro teams, it would just end up bad. The pro team would end with 50 kills in a team slayer, and my team would end with about 32. And no matter how much I practiced, maybe I could have gotten closer, but my skill was pretty much as high as it was gonna be. The only thing that was hindering me was maybe, and this is what I thought, maybe I wasn't as smart as the other player. Maybe I wasn't as intelligent as the other team. And even though I'm highly intelligent, I consider myself to be really smart. Maybe they were just smarter than me. Maybe they are one of the few people on this planet. Well, not few people. I don't mean to say that I'm Albert Einstein here. But maybe they are one of the few people on the planet that can think critically within the game. And that's my experience with it. And I gave the guy an example through the comments where I basically said that NBA players, in order to be in the NBA, have to have certain requirements that are given through the genetics to give them an easier ability, or to make it easier for them to be able to get to the NBA. Basically meaning most NBA players are tall. Most of them are taller than 6'3". And I'm not going to say that you can't make the NBA without being taller than 6'3", but it gets incredibly easier to get to the NBA by having that. And that is not something that you can't practice height. You can't practice that. The same way that I think you might get a little more intelligent by practicing, but you just can't. There has to be a given ability, a hidden potential, an intangible that you cannot see, that will give you the potential. Any player, unless you're like you have a mental deficiency, if you're an average person, you can become really good at a game, extremely good just by playing. Check out this two-piece right here. Check out this two-piece. Anyways, what separates the pro players, in my opinion, from these people, from people like me, from really good players, is that their ability to think critically. Maybe it's not their intelligence, but that ability to think fast and critically, pros possess that ability. He came back at me, though. He came back saying that gaming is not a sport. You can't compare basketball, because he said gaming is not a sport. Oh, check another two-piece right here. Boom. Yeah, baby. You can't compare basketball to you can't compare gaming to basketball, because gaming is not a sport. But I came back, what about NASCAR? NASCAR is televised on ESPN, and for those of you who don't know what NASCAR is basically racing, is racing stock cars. That's what they call it. It is given on ESPN, which is a sports network, so they consider it a sport. And if they consider that a sport, which is basically driving, which is kind of like a video game, except it's a real life situation, it's not a simulation, which a video game is a simulation. It is still, if you consider that a sport, then I consider gaming a sport. And I do consider gaming a sport. I consider NASCAR a sport because you have to have an ability. It's still a physical talent, coordination, intelligence. There's just so many intangibles, and one of the intangibles that determines your potential in gaming to me is being smart. But for you guys who are not the most intelligent people out there, who are not geniuses, do not worry, because skill gets you 90% of the way there, 95% of the way there. Peace out, players.